All right, good morning. How's everybody? Am I good? Everybody got the same number of kids you started with? Any bad ones we need to get rid of? Oh, I got my eye on you. All right. Well, folks, welcome to Alligator Alley this morning. My name's Wes. I'll be feeding. Got my main man, Mr. Hale, over here with the camera. Got Easy on the getaway cart. Hopefully all our bases will be covered. We're going to kind of jump on in and get after it because we have some really severe weather coming this way. So I'm hoping we can get through with the feeding before we all get soaking wet or anything like that. So I'm going to start by ringing the dinner bell. We're going to see what we can get cracking. Kids, don't try this at home. Heel. Don't everybody run at once. Alligators, their behavior can be adversely affected by changes in barometric pressure. So they have the ability to predict storms a lot better than the guy on Channel 5 ever will. So you'll notice there's not a lot of them on the bank right now. Most of them are in the water. That's because they're a lot smarter than we are. They know what's coming. So when we get instances of severe weather, they'll kind of go in lockdown mode. They'll find some of these little tucked in areas all throughout the swamp. They'll hunker down, wait out the storm. Same thing happens when we have tropical issues like hurricanes, tropical depressions, and things like that. Now on this side of the fence, there are quite a few alligators. We actually have over 200 fetch. These are all wild nuisance alligators. Now, nuisance alligators, it sounds like a big word, but all it is, it's an animal that had to be removed for being a threat to something. So alligators that hang around, come on, get up here, fellas. Alligators in places where people get in and out of the water, things like boat launches, public fishing areas, swimming areas, those are nuisance alligators. Situations where, maybe household pets fetch, get mistaken for a prey item. What's up, Arnie? Those are nuisance alligators. So a lot of it, unfortunately, though, it's not necessarily the alligator did anything wrong. It's a situation where his habitat is now a lovely waterfront subdivision. So you're like Captain Crunch, for instance. You eat a couple Labrador retrievers, you're automatically a bad guy. Or we just like to call him a Labrador retriever. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. When it comes to, what's up, Arnie, what alligators eat, they are opportunists in nature. I always tell people, if you don't want to be eaten by an alligator, don't make yourself an opportunity. But things that they will take advantage of to eat can be, range from little small things like snakes and frogs, all the way up to things like deer and pigs. However, turtles are a big percentage of their diet. And the reason for that, think about this. Turtles can live in any wetland area. And turtles are quite prolific at their numbers. And more importantly, turtles are not very fast. And so an alligator like Arnie here, who's right at 9 feet, he is perfectly big enough and capable of, catching a nice pond slider or small snapping turtle, making an easy meal of it. And his ability to crush that turtle shell requires not a lot of effort on his part. An alligator, his size is going to bite, in that mid to 1,200-1,400 pound of force range. If he gets about another foot, this is what I call Meals on Wheels. If he gets another foot in length, his bite force is going to really get up there. We're talking, at 10 feet, getting up around that 2,000 pound range. So again, is this guy big enough to grab me and take me for a swim? Hopefully not, but he is big enough to cause some problems. Now, ouch, makes my fingers hurt. The way the alligators eat, they don't chew. Their teeth are designed basically to crush things up and then swallow them whole. So it's kind of like putting clothes in a suitcase. You saw how easily he took that nice, big, juicy pork loin. He just broke that backbone, folded it up. It's down the hatch. Now, he's going to come back for seconds because they can actually eat about a fifth of their body weight. So, stay. Arnie's not a big alligator. Like I said, he's about 9 feet and some change. He probably weighs around 300 pounds. So, if he wanted to eat a 50, 60 pound animal, which would be a small deer, small pig, maybe 2 really bad kids in kindergarten. Now, he could do that and then lay around and do absolutely nothing for a very, very long period of time because first of all, you'll notice alligators don't waste energy in a useless fashion, so they're not out just making the rounds. So again, they're not burning any of those calories they're taking in. Secondly, they can process and metabolize protein at a lot higher than we can. He can actually break down that rack of ribs and digest it at over 70%. If you're wondering if 70% is good, compare it to people. We can do it at about 2%. So again, quit playing with your food, Arnie. That's just rude. See, he's having some difficulty picking it up. I'll help him out. I'll take those ribs from you. Get over here. Man, he's more of a legs man. Let's see, do we have any legs here? We'll give you another juicy roast. How about that? Open up wide. 2 points. Now, you want me to stick my head in his mouth for pictures? No, good answer, good answer. Now, you're wondering what happens to those bones, get off those ribs, when they reach his stomach. Well, they produce a tremendous amount of hydrochloric acid. Give me those ribs, give me those ribs. So, once it reaches that stomach, again, that hydrochloric acid goes to work, and it will basically liquefy everything in a pretty short period of time. So, turtle shells, no problem. Teeth, no problem. You know, bones, no problem. So, everything on an animal's carcass gets processed in a very, very short period of time. 86 degrees is what we call peak alligator temperature range. I know that's kind of a random number, but that's the great thing about science is we can really, really fine tune and tweak things, you know, down to the exact temperature. So anything hotter than 86, they get a little lazy, and anything cooler, they get a little bit lazy. So I think today we're supposed to be somewhere in those upper 70s and not a whole lot of sun, so they're not firing on all cylinders like they normally would, but so far so good. Now this is a very important time of the year in the life cycle of an alligator. This is Prince Eric. He's a bigger fella at this end of the swamp. This is the time of year which is going to give us baby alligators on about the end of August, first week of September. So guys like Prince Eric, who is, you know, one of those top 25 fellas out here because he is right at that 13 foot break. You know, he's not, get out of my cooler. This is why we have wheels on everything. Get over here. So these larger males right now could really care less about the deal I've got going. I don't have anywhere near the number of legs to keep him occupied. So these bigger fellas will show up at the feeding area, not because they're hungry, but just to kind of make sure everybody else is staying in line, because right now the ladies take precedence over what I have going. Now, Prince Eric is not a terribly old alligator. He is, I'm going to estimate his age, probably around those, you know, early, maybe mid-30s at the most. Now, in the wild, you stay, good boy, alligators live about 50 years. Whoa! Yeah, I don't like lightning. So we're about to wrap this up here in just a second, folks, but in the wild, they live about 50 years. In captivity, woo, they live about 70 to 75. All right. Now, common sense would tell me, folks, that that's a good indicator. We need to probably abort this mission real quick. Like I said, I'm going to unhook this microphone as well. I would highly recommend you may want to go back to the main shop, get one of these nice covered areas, because I think it's about to get real nasty here in just a second.